Hello there. Today I'm going to show you how to make some really good functional rope just using your typical everyday grocery bag. These are the ones that of course we bring home by the dozens, usually get thrown in a box somewhere and maybe recycled. The truth is though a small percent, less than 1% globally of these bags ever get recycled. They're pretty hard to recycle. So maybe by using it for a purpose of making rope and putting some value on it, especially in places maybe in developing markets. And for instance, I go down to Panama a lot. And although it's a pretty rural, developing country, you see these plastic bags everywhere. You see them on the streets, you see them in the ocean. I've been out surfing and here they are floating by me. So the goal is to maybe we can turn something that everybody sees as something that has no use whatsoever and no value into something that they can use. So we're going to make the rope. We're going to try and make you a little bit more aware of the problem. And also I would like to ask you if you know someone that you can pass this on to. Be it a friend, a family member, a small town newspaper, an educator, environmental group. If we can get this process out there so more people are doing something good with these plastic bags, that's going to eventually have an overall effect. Even to the point of when you're traveling to some developing country, bring a piece of your rope with you and show it to someone and say, you can make this out of these bags. So let's start that, maybe a process where we can use more and more of these up for a good purpose. So with that, I'm going to get into showing you actually how to make the rope. The first step is to grab one bag, and you'll notice on the bottom of these bags there's a seam that runs across the bottom. What you want to do is just bunch that up. So like the seam is bunched right here in one group, and you're going to take your fingers and just poke a hole right below that seam. So now you have a hole in the bag, and you have a hole down at the other end where the handles are. So now you're going to attach two bags together. To do that, take another bag and the handles, slip it through those holes that you made, both handles through. Pull it through, like I have, about halfway. Take the other end of the bag. You've probably seen this knot before, it's a pretty common knot. Slip it through that, through those holes, and pull tight. So basically now you have two bags connected together. You can pull it tight. By the way, this rope is really strong. My son, who's 200 pounds, threw one of these ropes over our rafter in our garage and hung from it, and there was no problem. So you're going to make a nice strong rope with these bags. So that's how you start the process. Now the next part of the process is to start braiding groups of these lines of bags together. One trick I've learned along the way with making this rope, you're going to get a lot better looking rope and I think more strength if you start your rope with 3 different size bags. So right here I have 3 bags. They're all the same, basically typical grocery bags, but they're different lengths. And the reason you want to do this is when you start making your rope, you don't want the joints to all be lined up. You want them to be staggered. So by starting with 3 different size bags, for the rest of the rope it'll be staggered. Don't have to, but I think you'll like the result better that way. So to save a little time, I have created 3 long strands of bags, 6-7 bags in length. And the first 3 bags are slightly different in size. And I've found the best way now to start making this rope and braiding it is to put it on some sort of a hook. It could be a doorknob, it could be anything that you can get that loop over and pull firmly as you're making the rope. So I have this hook set up and we're going to use this to braid the rope on. So now you have your 3 strands over your hook, and it's really just a pretty simple process of starting to braid these strands together. Basically you're going to always take one of the outside bags and bring it over the center bag. I just took the right one over the center. Now I'm going to take the left one over the center. Keep pulling tight and tightening down as you go. Left over the center, right over the center. You've probably seen this process before if you have young daughters, because it's basically like braiding hair. Now you see I'm coming to the joints where we're starting new bags, and these joints came out a little close. Now there was one up here, there's one here, and now the last one is here, so they're not exactly on top of each other, which is good. All right, so I've made this length of rope rather quickly. Could have been a little bit nicer, but I rushed right through it. But it is a really strong piece of rope. So the next question is, how do you end this? And there's a couple different ways. Right now I'm towards the end of the 3 bags. As you can see, one's a little longer than the other because that's the way we started. You can simply just tie them off very well, all 3 of them, and cinch that down, and that will be the end of your rope. But also, let's say you have used up all your bags and you want the rope to be longer. Same thing, just kind of lightly tie it down, collect some more ropes, and just continue on with your rope and make it as long as you want. So I'm just going to quickly tie this down, and then you can kind of cut off the excess if you want, if that's going to be the end of your rope. Tie it up a little bit. So basically, I guess if I wanted to, I would just cut that end off, and you'd have a good secure end on the rope. And there it is. And again, very strong. I wouldn't go hiking on Mount Everest with it, but for a lot of things around your house, tying up bundles in your garage, landscape uses, I'd feel comfortable tying off loads in a truck. It's good for a lot of reasons and a lot of purposes. So thank you for joining me, and again, I would like to ask anyone out there that could spread this to some group that could put it to use, environmental groups, municipalities, especially what I'm thinking is other countries where there's really a lot of damage by these. Let's get the word out there. Thanks for joining us.